Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Game of Thrones character breakdown. My name is Kyle Lisi, formerly known as the artist as Azora Hype. I am joined by Team Captain Daenerys, or is it Fire and Blood, William?
Fire and Blood, yeah, let's go with that. It's Team Fire and Blood.
William Rice, a patron of the channel and live chat member, and of course, GeekChat1 Overlord J.R. Rowley.
Yeah, I don't know where this Overlord stuff started at, but that's not inherently the case. I just gave it a name, man.
So the people are excited about Kyle Lisi in chat. We didn't reach 1,000 on GeekChat1. We're at 591 subs in GeekChat1, but I did make a promise that I was going to dress up as Kyle Lisi. So no Carthene dress with the tit hanging out, but you got Kyle Lisi tonight. We got some donations pre-stream. We got 50 from Morley in her generous spirit as always. Hype and love your channel and all of the content. Thank you so much, Mora. We got another one from Blue Dragon. No question, just a $5. Thank you so much. Very much appreciate. Marvin Martin, we have a question from you, which we're going to save for our Q&A period. Two donations from Marvin, $12 US. We're going to save that for the Q&A period. We got some questions from Geek Chat 1. And Runs with Squirrels. Hey, what the hell is weirwood paste? We're going to talk about that in the Q&A period. But JR, we got a lot of questions on Geek Chat 1. And of course, hello chat. Thanks for joining us on Saturday. Gemma couldn't be here this evening. Her daughter is ill. Not a good kind of ill.
Both of them are ill.
Both of them are ill. So I apparently passed the flu through the internet. I'm feeling a little bit better. I'm still a little bit congested, as you can hear. But the show must go on. So we're here.
Indeed. And we'll start with, for the Daenerys breakdown, we'll go ahead and shout out all the names from Team Fire and Blood, which Mr. William Rice is, of course, the captain of on Geek Chat 1. And in that group, we have some weirdo named Kyle Foster, Susan Dunkel, Connie Supernicious, maybe, question mark?
Connie.
Hello, Connie, either way.
Yep.
Samantha Rodriguez, Danny Darko, Sativa Major,
Santavia, I believe.
Santavia Major, I hope. I'm sorry if I'm butchering it. Julia Stiles, Jefferson Jones, and Kim L. That rounds out the Team Fire and Blood from the first official drawing of Team Fire and Blood.
So since we got a special guest here this evening, William, the team captain for Team Fire and Blood. I don't know how I ended up on this team. I believe it was rigged. But William, let's first ask the question to you and then chat. Daenerys Targaryen, what do you think of her as a character?
You know, I've always thought Daenerys one of the most necessary characters for the show. You know, she started off at such a low point, sold into slavery, got into marry on with Khal Drogo, led to Khalasar. Khal Drogo died. She carried on trying to break through all of Westeros, got into Slaver's Bay, and then her character kind of slowed down a little bit for a few seasons there. I think it's fair to say she sort of lost a little bit of momentum right around there.
Similar to in the books, we call it the Myronese knot. A lot of people contest this point as where George got writer's block or where Daenerys' plot line, where there's a bunch of different characters, but the plot isn't being solved, right? So definitely interesting comments, William. I'm definitely in agreement with you. We'll go definitely more into depth. JR, what are your thoughts on Daenerys Targaryen?
Much like most, pretty much what William said is she is a necessary character, of course, but it's always interesting to me when you look at all the females at the beginning of the story in actual Game of Thrones in the books. They all start from a very weak position. And now fast forward into A Dance with Dragons, and you find themselves in a very dominant position where they're asserting their power over others in the benefit of everyone. So it's a great transitional story arc, and it takes place for many of the female characters inside of A Song of Ice and Fire for sure. And yeah, it's kind of a stall when it gets to Dany in certain places and trying to get other characters there and catch up. And it slows down her progress quite a bit. But all in all, she's a great character. I have a couple of problems with her, which I'm sure we'll get into. But, all in all, she's pretty great.
It's interesting because I talk about Arthurian legend and Jon Snow in unison quite a bit. But Daenerys could also be a kind of a great example of that. She's in exile. She has to, but at least she knows about it, right? But she definitely has a very interesting path. She knows that she is supposed to be destined for great things, but she has to go through all of these trials and tribulations before she can reach any of that. And I think that, I've been on record saying that I believe that Daenerys is going to die or sacrifice herself. I personally think that she's going to die in childbirth. I think the moment is going to be very similar to Lyanna and Ned's moment with Jon and Daenerys. I think history is going to repeat itself. And Daenerys, but, I could see a way more badass moment with Daenerys sacrificing herself as a Nissa type character. She could survive, but that's what we're here to discuss tonight. We got so many great questions from GeekChat1. And you chat are really hype right now. So awesome. Thank you everyone for being here. Dan Carroll, Media Relations Director for DragonCon. What is the difference between a leak and gone fiction?
Fan fiction.
Fan fiction. Yeah, good question. Leak actually has an actual leak has to be proven by some sort of journalist, Dan. As you know, you've been, for people that don't know in the chat, Dan has been doing, I believe, DragonCon for 11 years, or at least helping with the media relations directing part of it for 11 years. So Dan is a huge reason why we're able to get coverage at DragonCon. But I think there's a huge difference, obviously, between fan fiction. Fan fiction is something that's written that you could imagine that you hope happens, and a leak is something that's actually like Star Wars Episode 9. There's a leak that the main villain is the Beyond, someone from the Beyond. So it's Game of Thrones leaks. There's people that do them. I know what you're trying to get at with this, Dan. I'm not a fan of them, especially for season 8 and how they try to protect everything.
The funny part is we all know it's basically fake news. I mean, this is stuff that's coming out that people are trying to bait people into believing. It's not real. It's not coming from reliable sources. None of them have been vetted. There's no tie back to HBO nor anybody that works inside of HBO. And when we got legitimate leaks, which has happened from a Game of Thrones, there was backing to him, that it was at least vetted, that it was somebody from the show, and some people actually got in trouble and fired from the show because of it. So there was repercussions and consequences, whereas people just writing a bunch of stuff and throwing it out there and seeing if it goes viral is
claiming it as
junk.
Yeah,
and it's not a leak, it's junk.
It's ingratiation where people want to they want to appear as if they've discovered something, and we're not gonna go down the rabbit hole too much on that, Dan. But thanks for your donation. We got some donations.
But William had a comment on it though.
Pardon me?
They try and make it look like a script, but I saw them for a few seasons ago, and it just doesn't look anything like a mainstream script would be. It looks like something I'd write for my year 12 drama class.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, you're not wrong at all. Some of the leaked pictures, the scripts were just, it was absolute garbage. The typeface is wrong, that everything's wrong on it. It's just whatever. Yeah. Sure, it's a leaked script that I typed up on my antique typewriter.
Some of the stuff they announced of the year on Greyjoy was absolutely absurd. There has been 12 plot leaks. We don't do that on here on the channel.
Yeah, no.
Dan, as you know. But we are going to get back into the Daenerys Targaryen discussion. Let's get into some questions from GeekChat1. Marvin, Martin, and others. Anybody that makes a super chat donation, we're going to get to them after, just a little bit later. We do have like 6 or 7 questions from GeekChat1, JR. Where should we start off?
Mr. Tim F., one of our great Beltalowda brothers. Beltalowda. Beltalowda. Tim wants to know, how do you think Sam and Dany will get along? Which is a great baiting question now, isn't it?
William, me and you were talking about this before stream. We know there's a difference in the books because Dany hasn't gotten this far, but
yeah.
Dickon sacrificing himself like that obviously wasn't a wise decision. Samwell is, he wasn't treated, Dickon wasn't someone that was like, he wasn't exactly like his father, but obviously his father was not kind to him. So the fact, do you think that that's going to affect Sam or stall his character progression in some sort of way? Do you think it's going to affect him negatively? I personally don't.
No, I agree with you absolutely there. Obviously Sam had a very temperamental relationship with his father. It's not really mentioned too much how he felt towards Dickon. I think obviously he'd be upset as their family, but I don't think it'll affect him quite to the extent of if a Lannister had been killed and the other Lannisters would have responded.
I think that the term "with great power comes great responsibility" is actually a great something that Samwell Tarly actually realizes, because he's connected with Jon Snow and he's had a conversation with Bran. He's privy to the information that the vision, at least, that Bran experienced that we got to see at the end of season 8. So I think that Samwell knows what's important, like Jon. Very much like a Samwise Gamgee character. Jon Snow and Bran kind of being like a split of Frodo. I don't necessarily, yeah, he might, obviously if your family gets burned alive by a dragon, you're going to feel something about it. I don't think it's going to stop Sam from doing what he needs to do. JR.
I think Sam is going to be upset about Dickon, and rightfully so, because ultimately what happened to Sam had nothing to do with Dickon, right? I don't think he could care less about what happened to Randall, honestly, with how he was treated. He will have a little bit, but not. He'll feel bad for Rickon or Dickon or Dickon, whatever. Yes, that was completely on purpose, like they do in the show with Jamie, because I love it when Jamie does it to him. It's hilarious. Anyway, I think he'll feel bad about it happening to Dickon, but I don't think he'll give two shits about it happening to Randall.
Yeah, and what was Randall stood by the values that have been instilled in his house for generations, right?
No, he was just a dick.
Yeah. But I think that what's really interesting is that Sam might actually kind of get behind what Daenerys is saying, like break the wheel. Like Randall was not about that at all, right? Like progression. Like Samwell was not this kind of the person that in society that was viewed as like this like person that could be a leader or anything like that. He's a bigger guy. He wasn't athletic. These kind of the cripples, bastards, and broken things theory. These kinds of people having a bigger impact on society. Sorry, what are you saying, Jared?
Nothing. I was just laughing at John Haymaker in the chat. Strap on Tarly. It caught me.
Shadow Fox with the donation. Thank you. Just because that wig is amazing, you could show LML how to dress.
Oh, little friend on friend action.
Maybe I should. Maybe me and LML could dress up together. Who knows? We can get something done.
It probably could happen.
So those of you that are here right now, if you haven't subscribed to GeekChat1, which is JR Rally, make sure you click in the link in the description of this video. We're trying to get him to 1,000 subscribers. I believe you're at 5. We were at 591 before the stream. You probably had a couple more, but anybody that isn't subscribed to GeekChat1 can find the link in the description of this video. So go do that. We have 113 people watching. We have 55 likes. Let's get the likes up. Let's go subscribe to JR's channel, and let's continue with our Daenerys discussion. JR, we have another question from Living My Rhapsody.
We do. Do you think Dany really wants that throne? Or is she just continuing with what her brother started? Because that's all she ever knew, chasing after that throne.
So, William, what do you think? Do you think that Daenerys actually wants the throne?
It's going back to the whole Miscellaneous not thing there, Kyle. You know, if she wanted it completely, I think she probably would have gone a little bit before now to try and go for it. You know,
Yeah, instead of learning how to be a ruler, how to understand the different cultures in Essos, obviously, learning how to be a better queen. A lot of people criticize Daenerys. Me and William were talking about this before stream. Like someone compared Daenerys to Hitler, for example, and I'm like, that's just absolutely insane. Okay, like I don't need to explain why they shouldn't be compared. Yes, Daenerys has made questionable decisions, but they are not the same kind of person. And I think that, William, what you were saying, I don't necessarily know she wants the throne 100%, but she wants to change what the Iron Throne like the power over the people, because Daenerys has help abolish slavery and do all of these other things. And yes, she has made questionable decisions, but the Iron Throne represents power over the people, right? This domination. And that's not necessarily a good thing, because like the wheel keeps on spinning, like she says, and the people that aren't in status keep on being abused as a result. JR?
I think part of it, I think she's kind of torn. I don't think she necessarily wants the throne. And I think in the books, she still very much views it as her birthright. And in the show, she does it as well, but she looks at it from a different perspective in the show of freeing more people. What happened in Marine and Astapor in the books is a lot different. And I think she still holds on to that birthright idea of it belongs to her, and she'll take it with fire and blood. And in the show, she's a little bit more redeemable, in my opinion. But absolutely, thank you, LMR, for the question, and thank you for being in the chat right now.
Yeah, LMR, thank you for the question. There was a couple of other comments in GeekChat1. Elon Hudson said, "Living my Rhapsody, this is what I wanted to ask." And JJ Ziegler, it would explain why she got closer to this goal. And they put her in clothes similar to her brother. So there was multiple people that want to have this question answered on stream. So thank you, Living My Rhapsody. Andrew Burnett, who is a patron of the channel and also has been generously donating in the live chat for quite some time. William, best way for Dany to die? We were talking about this before stream as well.
There's a lot of ways she can go. You know,
best way though. What's the best?
The best way? I would love dragon versus dragon over the God's Eye. That's a Dragon 2.0.
So she dies as a warrior princess or queen.
What better way to go out?
And then, we have some sort of like another Ygritte moment with Jon maybe, or something like that. Not even, just boom, she's dead like that with the Night King.
I think she's going to want vengeance for losing that dragon. She's going to want to fight that.
Ooh. So William is saying Dance of Dragons with the Night King and Daenerys. JR, what do you think?
Interesting. For me, the way that I want her to go, and I know a lot of people bang on about her dying in childbirth. I don't want that, but what I could see happening, and it's not going to happen in the show, and it's a very, very distant possibility in the books, is that she actually gives birth to her and Jon Snow's child, and then volunteers to become the Night's King or Queen, excuse me, beyond the wall, self-sacrificing for that and leaving Jon to raise their child, because it is matching of fire and blood. He'll have the throne and the reign, removing herself from that position of the throne and knowing that her child will carry on the legacy of the Targaryens.
Then that creates the problem of history and repeating itself, and the wheel not being broken again, right? But if
this goes back to the pact of the first men, this is a piece of it that could come into play.
The pact. Yeah, the pact. Here's the thing for me. I 100% believe that the wheel is going to be broken by the end of the story. I think
Correct,
that,
but I think Jon Snow will have to carry it out.
I think so too. I think that I think the White Walkers are going to be completely destroyed. Maybe there will be some ambiguous sense that, if Bran's still alive, or little Sam carrying the White Walker gene or genetics. I think, that kid having those super blue eyes like that and being the 100th child is quite interesting. But I can't be talked off the ledge with hey, I think that, the Iron Throne is done or the White Walkers are going to be gone. I think those things need to happen for the story to have felt like it meant something for me personally. So yeah. And any final thoughts on this question? William, you're good?
I think what JR was saying there with the return to the pact, that would be quite a nice way of history repeating itself right there, having Daenerys as the Night Queen. I'm liking that.
I mean, her attire too, especially in the show. I mean, look at what she's wearing.
The ice blue palettes that she wore for quite a few seasons. Very different shades of blues, whether they were pastels or kind of that ice blue dress that she wore. It's kind of visually been cued on for that. Not that I'm giving any validity to wardrobe predicting her ending. I think you can do some, but not all the way. And it's a little bit of a stretch in this, in my estimation.
What's really interesting, though, too, is there's also the Valor Morgulis theory where all men must die. We have people like Sansa, Daenerys, Brienne, and others taking over and rebuilding the realm. I think that that's quite a stretch, though, because we have people like Samuel Davos and others that were, that are going to make an impact in the end game. That could possibly survive the end of the story. The idea that 7 or 8 main characters, the Faith of the Seven, the Mother, the Stranger, the Warrior, the Crone, all of that. We have 7 characters that represent those characters, those deities surviving the story. So that's pretty interesting. It's also possible that Daenerys could survive.
It is possible, and in that case, then it will definitely go back to my theory of ending in some kind of Magna Carta. It's going to be a constitutional monarchy with representative government. There'll still be a king or queen in name only, much like Britain, but it'll be just that, and that's my opinion. I think it'll end in some kind of loose Magna Carta with a representative government.
Yeah, and the hereditary monarchy system being broken, even though Daenerys is Targaryen, trying to reinstall the dynasty of her house, she sees what Jon and others have done through merit and breaks that system down. That would be interesting if Daenerys was the one to melt down the Iron Throne. I don't see that because of the foreshadowing we see with the House of the Undying Vision and all that. I think Jon's going to do that. Melt down the Iron Throne. But
I just completely randomly thought of this for no good reason. But what if they melt the Iron Throne down for the Valyrian steel that's actually in it?
That's been talked about quite a bit too.
Really? Oh, okay. I've never seen that theory. I was like, I wonder. But all the Valyrian steel swords Aegon the Conqueror allowed the families to keep or maintain. He would not take Valyrian steel, if I remember right, from Fire and Blood.
Jesper P. $10 Canadian, a fellow Canadian. If Jon and Dany get married and have a child and Jon remains a Snow, what would be the surname? If 2 bastards marry and have a child, what is their surname? What do you think about that, JR?
I think we end up with some very funky last names.
I don't think that that's the case. Do you think they're going to get married? I think they I mean,
whom?
Jon and Daenerys.
Jon and Daenerys. Well, Jon, once he learns his true lineage, will probably take Targaryen as his surname. It only makes sense, even though he is half Stark and half Targaryen. But the patriarchal side of his family is Targaryen. I mean, you take your father's name.
That's going to be really interesting, right? Because Ned represents this person that he admires very much, and then him finding
and raised him, yeah,
and him being Aegon Targaryen, possibly the 7th of his name. It's quite interesting. So
lucky number 11.
Some people say it's not the 7th. I mean, I think that's where George is going with it. But William, that's kind of interesting too. Like John having, I mean, obviously when the reveal happens, it's going to be huge. It's going to be one of the biggest moments in the series where John figures out he's not a bastard, right? And
I think with Daenerys as a queen in name, she'd legitimize him. Or not legitimize, but naturalize him. Would she call him Stark? And then, as Jar was saying, would he then, when he learns, would he then want to become Targaryen? Is there a precedent for that? I'm not entirely sure.
The song is, I mean, this is called the Song of Ice and Fire. In that, I mean,
absolutely,
water does represent life. So John being ice and fire. His and Rhaegar saying his song is the name. His song is the Song of Ice and Fire, which is really interesting. Obviously, so that's something that we got to consider, right? I mean, John being John Stark or whatever. I mean, there's so many theories about this out there. So, thank you so much, Jesper. I hope that was a good enough answer for you. Thank you so much for that. We have Marvin. We're gonna get to your super chat donation. They'll get some more GeekChat1 donations or questions. Marvin says, if Dany thinks she's infertile in the last of her line, who is she planning on passing the throne in dragons? So that's really interesting because William kind of just brought that up. Like, what if, like there's a scenario where John hides it or he finds out and not everyone knows about it, right? That is an interesting scenario, which I don't think will play out, but Dany could name John as heir, right? JR William.
Yeah, absolutely. He's king of the north. She could say, he's ruling that region. Would he take then the Iron Throne?
I mean, I think that John would want to resolve all of the issues, obviously, because I mean, he's rallying. He's the main person that's rallying everyone together to fight for the realms of men, right? And that's a huge deal. Aegon the Conqueror united the the 7 kingdoms, and John is kind of doing the same thing for a different reason. But it's hinted at that Aegon Conqueror had knowledge that this long night may be coming. So that's kind of a really interesting side of it as well, JR.
It is. Yeah, it is. It shows the dichotomy of it all and different sides of what is possible. So
definitely. Thank you very much for that, Marvin. And I think we got another donation from Marvin. We'll talk about Jamie a little bit after during the open Q&A session. JR, we got another question from GeekChat1.
We do. We have several, but I wanted to address a couple of them in the chat as well. And 26 Art Girl says that she heard a couple of theories about Cersei on Robert's stream with In Deep Geek. Yes, you did hear a couple of theories about Cersei and the endgame for her and my new semi-tinfoil theory on that. So by all means, if you haven't seen that yet, by all means, check out Robert's channel in Deep Geek and let him know that we sent you over there. He's a friend of both Kyle and I's. He'll be with us in Nashville at Con of Thrones. So yeah, great guy. And I was very, very honored to be on his channel the other day. It was great. What was the other one that I saw in the chat? Now I got to scroll back to it. All right, I lost it, so I apologize to whom.
Let's do some shout outs in chat before we get to another question.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, we're going to point for that.
The Imagination Realm, the Comet, which I love. I don't know if that's. Oh my God! All right.
PJ.
We're going to get to that. PJ of Ice and Fire, shout out. We're going to get to that in just a second. Peter Griffin, everyone in chat, y'all better. I'm pulling the y'all from JR right now. Y'all better show PJ some hype and love emojis, the heart and the fire emojis in the chat right meow. AB Collins, the original David Adams, PJ of Ice and Fire, Christian Ores, Ellie Hudson, We have Katrine Amethyst is getting the banhammer. Sorry, you're annoying me. We're having fun. Storm Steel, Liz Kopich, welcome. Another Geek Chat 1 member. Cherry Blossom Otila. I love how Otila finally changed her name to how we mispronounce it all the time. I say Otila. Otila. Angel. AU Pack Mule Shannon. Love this community. We love you, PJ. Morley, of course. Nancy T. Sasic. Beth of House Blackwood. Chrissy of Oldstone. Mara Jade Skywalker. Adonis Butler. Blue Dragon. And Michael Smith from Australia. Marika. Lorinda Phillips. And Prince That Wasn't Promised. Rob Kennedy. Fake Arya. Doug. My God. Linda. Sophie. I could go on forever. But thank you for joining us. JR, let's get to the next question. And then PJ, we're saving yours. We're going to do a big discussion on that.
Let's see. Cade Crothers actually asked the next question on Geek Chat 1, and it was Daenerys' reaction to the news of Jon Snow being the true heir. Will she be okay with the incest part of the relationship? Will she be all meh for it's Targaryen and it's pretty much normal? Or will she be pukey emoji about it?
What do you think, William? I think John's going to have more of a problem than her with it.
Absolutely. You know, she's Targaryen. It's been going on from the days of back in Valyria. She'll have no problem with it, at least.
And she accepted long ago that she was going to ultimately marry Viserys at some point in her life. Yeah. But she was very, very cognizant of that fact. So yeah, I'm with William on this too. I think it'll be way less of an issue for her than it is for Jon.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see how Jon reacts, first of all, to the news of him finding out. I mean, because his feelings for Daenerys, like they are genuinely compatible, right? But that's his aunt. Right. This is a really, really screwed up situation. So I personally think they're a good match. Right. But I mean, that's such a hard decision. Like in your mind, like what are you thinking in that moment when you find that out? Like, can I go through with this? Like, could we get married? I get married to my aunt. That's like, but this is Westeros. Okay. This isn't, I don't know. It's such a real, it's like, so difficult to like genuinely give like a real clear answer on that. Let's go with PJ's question. PJ of Ice and Fire donated $100. Insane, everyone in chat. Sure, some love. There can't be an ending to the whole Song of Ice and Fire. There are still 2 more books to go. It will end in the foreshadowing of what is to come. Otherwise, why would George R. R. Martin give it all away? What do you think about that, JR? Do you think that, because it is said that Dan and Dave for the show got the general idea of it, but A Song of Ice and Fire is, I mean, I think we're assuming that there is going to be some ambiguity in the end of the story. Everything won't be answered. I think that's part.
Yeah, it's not going to be a neatly tied up package. You know, the good guys don't win, the bad guys don't die. Nobody rides off into the sunset. That's not this kind of story, right? And George R. R. Martin makes it very abundantly clear that that is not the story that he's telling. It is not that everybody wins. Everybody is going to be massively changed by their own actions and decisions and by those decisions of others made around them. It's a story of growth. It's a story of many things, but a happy ending is not it.
Bittersweet. There's still sweet in there. William, what are your thoughts on that?
You know, obviously the TV show is going to have its own little artistic license to go in the direction that it chooses, overtaking the books back in season 5. Now it's going in its own direction. Do I think it's going to match the end of the books? I don't think so. I think George has his own plans of where he wants the books to go. And I think Dan and Dave, I think they're going to probably get to a similar, but definitely I think it's going to end a little bit different to how it will in the books.
Like, for example, on the panel here, if Daenerys dies in the books, she dies in the show, right? Like, we're all in agreement on that. Like, they're not going to like change that in the show, like Daenerys survives.
Well, there's going to be some parallels, and some I don't think you can undo in the books. So if it's given away in the show, I think some of those will hold true, but not necessarily all of them.
Yeah, I mean, not everything is going to be the same. I mean, that's just a fact. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
And I consider them two different canons at this point. Like they're complementary of each other, but they're not the exact same thing. You got to look at it that way.
George R. Martin said live in person. I saw him say it live from his lips. Said, love them both. So that's what I'm doing. And I know most of you are. So PJ of Ice and Fire, I hope that answers your question. I don't think that George R. Martin is going to give away the whole thing. I do hope we get the final 2 books. But I agree. There is a much larger scope in the Song of Ice and Fire series. Marvin Martin, if Dany becomes the Night Queen will she retain her soul with all the breeding, gene splicing? So, I mean, the human nature just rebuilds the wheel. Like, what are your, like, is it real? Like, would that be a possible ending? We talked about Jon and Daenerys having a child, which I think is a strong possibility. But Daenerys retaining her soul, I mean, it's hinted at that the Night King has lost. I mean, still has the ability to make decisions, however, has lost the ability to feel and communicate in certain ways. Chat, panel, what are our thoughts on that? If that happens to Dany, what do you think will happen? I mean, will she still be Daenerys? Like, will she just be some mindless drone? I don't know.
She'll have some ability of free will, but not totally. I mean, it's going to be like the Greek story of Persephone, right? Like she's going to be bound, and she knows she's going to be bound, but she'll still be herself-ish. Because the Night's Queen in the old tales of the Night's King, the 13th Lord Commander story or parable that we get, the queen was the one in control, and in this case, it's the king. So born of that lineage, we're kind of thinking, and that's purely speculation on our parts. We don't know. But of the same lineage of them, as if they had a child and continued that lineage on, she would retain some, but knowing that she is bound by X stipulations, whatever they are, I think is more of a likely scenario.
Nicholas says Daenerys will be like Benjen. Yeah, that's a more likely scenario.
That's kind of what I'm thinking, yeah.
William.
One of the things Daenerys is great at is adapting. You know, when she married Drogo, she adapted to the Khaleesi lifestyle. You know, she made a loving relationship with him. I think she could adapt to becoming a Night Queen scenario, to have a little bit of herself remain.
She's that you think that she's that strong of, yeah, that's really interesting, because we don't necessarily know how long the Night King has been the Night King, but I mean 5,000 years, like that I mean, let's say it was that long, to have the willpower to, I mean, I can't even contemplate that, right? I mean, to try to consciously think about like how you would survive that is just that just blows my mind.
Yeah.
Excellent questions tonight by chat. Geek Chat. We still got a few more from GeekChat1, right?
Yeah, we're getting great questions from the live chat right now, and from GeekChat1. Everybody, of course, asking great questions on there. We have a very eclectic group of very intelligent people on there, so of course we're going to get great questions, right?
Yeah. Let's continue, JR. Let's go with
somebody very aptly pointed out that I'm wearing a Team Friend Zone shirt. That's right. I'm not going to bend the knee, nor am I going to kiss Kyle. I am in the friend zone. See how that worked? I'm so glad this shirt showed up as one of the test runs for the merch that'll be coming to GeekChat1 before the Jon Snow shirt did.
Everyone,
just saying.
Subscribe to GeekChat1. Come to GeekChat1 on Facebook. The links are in the description of this video. GeekChat1 merch is coming.
It is. Kyle's seen some of the other stuff that hasn't been published yet. We've released a couple of images, but not all of them.
Special behind the scenes stuff.
Right.
So chat is hilarious right now. Team Friend Zone. I saw some other people saying like Team Sansa, Team Tormund earlier.
Yeah, everybody that's been assorted to their teams for season 8. And we're going to clarify the rules for all this coming up very shortly. I'm sorry, I've been super busy lately with getting stuff done behind the scenes for everything, setting up stuff for Kyle and I to go to Dragon Con. Like, we've been really busy for like the last month. Like, it's been insane.
By the way, everyone, announcement, JR is coming to Dragon Con with me, and we will be doing some sort of Game of Thrones cosplay. But it's going to be really awesome. GeekChat1 and Azora Hype team up at Dragon Con. We're really excited, obviously, see all of our friends in Atlanta, Aziz and Ashea and Dan Carroll, who, of course, is a big opponent. I mean, we got some big things are going on. We can't really talk about it, but we're really excited. There's going to be some awesome things.
Yeah, we're super excited for everything that's going on and very, very thankful for opportunities that are coming. So it's been pretty blessed lately.
Please wear this. There's going to be a better outfit than this. This is
well, and it was one of the poll questions in Geek Chat 1 too, wasn't it, Kyle?
Oh, Nancy T. Yeah, go ahead with the question, then we'll shout out.
Oh no, I'm going to talk about Nancy T first because I'll thank you, Nancy T, one for the donation and being excited to see the merch. And I'd like to personally say thank you, Nancy, because I've slept under a very, very warm blanket the last couple of nights. I was actually going to unbox it last night on camera, but Kyle had to cancel it. Yes, it looks very similar to that, Kyle.
And like, look at how beautiful this is. I mean, we got my blinds up there, but the Fire and Blood, Hear Me Roar, House Stark, it's beautiful. Nancy T is the mother of blankets.
Yes, she is, and the mother of all things Westeros.
So, just a little something for the con. Can't wait for Geek Chat 1 merch. Nancy T, you're getting something special. All right.
Oh, yeah.
You're getting hooked up. Tubbs is in the chat now. Kalahai. We got 150 people watching. Thank you so much for joining me, William, and JR this evening. William, what do you think? I mean, let's make a prediction for Team Daenerys. Are we going to be out of the pool by episode 5 or 4?
Ooh, that's true.
I think we're gonna get through we'll get to 5.
But you think episode 5, that's it? We die?
I think, you know, you mentioned it in so many videos, Carl. I don't see Daenerys making it to the end. But
we're gonna stoically push on.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but if you get reanimated and become the Night's Queen, have you truly died? Begs the question now, doesn't it?
We got some more people in chat. Rick Hoppy. We have also
Rick. Hello.
The coffee king, as I like to say. Cherry Blossoms. Let's scroll up a little bit. Ninja Keek. We also have Nancy T, of course, who made the donation. John. Marvin Martin. We have Chrissy of Oldstone, the best moderator in the realm. Matthew Goodreach has a Victorian question. You know, we should just do an Ironborn video for everyone. I know there's been requests for a Theon video. We have Angelina Ahai, who's a cousin of mine, because I'm Azor Hype. She's Angelina Ahai. Anime lover.
And, of course, also a member of Geek Chat 1. There's a lot of subscribers and mad chatters that are both.
JR, we have a Bloodstone Emperor question from Anime Lover. Hi, guys. Looking good, Kyle. Did you talk about the heat resistant in the connection with the Bloodstone Emperor and the Valyrians doing stuff? Do you think there's any connection between the Bloodstone Emperor, the Valyrians being fireproof?
There could be something to it. For me personally, I don't think there's enough contextual evidence to say it one way or the other at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, there's not necessarily enough evidence for it. Pego Pete, Valamogoras Valadohairis, the Night King's house words. I'm frozen. I'm cold. Let me loose.
No, I think he's asking, do you think it's possible that those are actually his house words?
I think
all
he's a
men
member.
must die and all men must serve. And it's fitting if you think about it, because he reanimates the dead, right? So all men must die and become in service. I don't hate it. I like it. It's a good comparison. Hello, Peg Leg Pete. I hope everything's going good for you.
Yeah, I think the Night King is a member of House Stark. So winter is coming.
William, any thoughts?
Yeah, if it's going to be a member of a house, it's got to be a Northern house. Makes sense for it to be a Stark. You know.
I mean,
Yeah,
old Nan. What old Nan talked about is just, I mean, it's a thing. Flash Weasel, can y'all answer my question in the normal chat? Why did you just put it in the super chat, Flash Weasel?
I know, that's what I was thinking. I was like, where is it? I'm scrolling back trying to find it, Flesh Weasel.
When the Walker
he just wants us to say his name.
Yeah, he does. When the Walker comes to the baby, Gilly says she's come for his life. What if the Whites are from the god of death and deal with and they made a deal with Craster for his sons was because it was temporary. Here's the thing. The House of Black and White and the Faceless Men give the gift of death. So the Night King raising the dead essentially mocks the gift. So
It does.
I don't think that they're aligned, and I don't think that the Iron Bank and the House of Black and White and the Faceless Men necessarily want someone to raise the world and kill everyone and just. I mean, there's no economy if the White Walkers win. I mean, you know what I mean? So I think that to answer your question, that's what I think. William.
Yeah, you know, I really can't see why the Iron Bank would want to invest in an army that they can't get a return from. You know, they're so dead set on they'll only invest on who they think will win. They'll go for the winners, but they
kind
can't
of like the Medici
get a return from the dead. You know,
kind of like the Medici bankers. If you know who they are, they invested in different. They tried to influence who became the Pope and in different wars and stuff like that. They were very influential because they had a lot of money. So the Iron Bank, if you think of it like that, are very similar because they have touch money and influence. They try to bet on one's like someone that let's say they have a debt from one side, they'll just fund the other side. You know what I mean? It's
not care as long as the Iron Bank will have its due, and that's what they say constantly.
Yeah, definitely. Sword in the Darkness and out tonight. Just wanted to say hello. Don't forget to thumbs up this video. That's right. We have 150 people watching and 81 likes. If you're enjoying this, please thumbs up the video. Thank you so much for that donation. Rosebud Squirrels, did you do something different with your hair? Yeah.
Yes,
Great.
you did, Kyle Lisi. Yes, you did.
So I'm releasing a video tomorrow on the new Game of Thrones season 8 photos that we got. And Jesper has an awesome question. Thanks for the donation. How do you think Daenerys will react when she meets Jaime? Every man around her falls in love with her and she rejects them all at some point. Jaime makes all women swoon and he rejects them all. It's interesting because Jaime killed Daenerys' father and Daenerys admitted that her father was in the wrong. So certainly there's going to be an interesting conversation, and that's what the 2 first episodes are all going to be about. I mean, like we are going to get the most interesting dialogue.
But I think it's going to be the Southerners or those that haven't experienced what the Night King is that are going to bang on about old shit. And I think it's going to be everybody that's seen the Night King going, it doesn't matter anymore. Bran's going to say it to Jaime that it doesn't matter what you did with me. I became what I had to become. Same with Daenerys and Jaime. It had to be done because it was necessary to save people, and it's in the past. Who cares anymore? I mean, there's a lot of those conversations that are going to happen, but I think they're going to get shot down by everybody who knows what the threat actually is.
Davos.
Yep.
The Johns of the world, the others. I mean, I say the others. This is really interesting. Don't get that confused. But yeah, I think that we have to understand that people like Samuel and Bran and Jon and Arya and other people will they're going to be like, okay, listen, like we really with Cersei, right? Well, Jaime came all the way north. I mean, would Jaime really risk coming north and being killed for that? I mean, he's not respected by the North. That's for certain.
No, but he's honoring his word.
Cheers to everyone, by the way. I am drinking some, I saw someone ask earlier, some Jackson Trakes. It's a Canadian wine. It's a red reserve wine. Delicious.
Oh, that explains your lips going purple. That makes sense.
This is actually lipstick.
Yeah, I was trying to give you an out.
Wow. I wore lipstick for all of you tonight. We have another donation from Marvin Martin. Will human nature just rebuild the wheel? Or will this breeding or mixing imply potentially upgrade the species somehow? All of this death worship, cosmic Stockholm syndrome. See, it's interesting. So like all mad, like the White Walkers, direwolves, dragons, and all. I think only humanity is going to be left if that's what you're asking, and that's kind of the bittersweet part of it is that humanity was the one that essentially forced this war because they came over, fought the children of the forest, started cutting down the weirwood trees. Right? That's the greater wheel. William.
You know, I really think I agree with you absolutely. You know, there's destined for the humanity to survive. Will the dragons live? I don't think so. Will there be magic afterwards? I don't think so. I think it's going to be sort of a renaissance of sorts. We're going to have a period of a renaissance and a whole period of change to the world of Planetos after the thing is over.
By the way, Planetos is actually not Planetos. I know a lot of people say it is actually just Earth, which blows people's minds. So
yeah, George came out and said that a couple years back now. It's been a while, but for a long time we all referred to it as Planetos on the boards. We certainly called it Planetos back in the day. It was just kind of the given euphemism for Essos, Westeros, and Planetos. It just kind of made sense, right? But yeah, it turns out it's actually Earth. So thank you, George R. R. Martin, for that large inconvenient spoiler.
Everybody's like Planetos and all these other different names, like because Westeros, Planetos. Like, I mean, yeah, I get it. I mean, I know my hair is beautiful. Wow.
Oh boy.
We still got more questions from GeekChat1, Jared. Let's get to them.
Actually, Carrie Neves just put in a super chat. Thank you very much for that donation. Magna Carta coming to Westeros by the end. We spoke on this a little bit earlier. This has been one of my theories for a very long time, that it will end in some sort of Magna Carta being a representative constitutional monarchy where they still have a king and queen. Much like Britain and quite a few other places still have something similar to that, but it will end in a representative government of some kind.
The Iron Table. You know, like the round table.
Yeah, we've talked about it several times, Iron Table being one of those pieces, yeah.
Yeah, we spoke about this earlier, William. You kind of believe the same thing. The wheel's going to be broken, that sort of deal, right?
And what does it look like afterwards, though? What do you think, William?
As you said right there, you got to have an overruler of the thing, but then you're going to have each region's going to have its own ruler in charge of the area as it is, but you got to have one overseeing everything. Probably going to be John. You know, I got to think that
which people say is cliche, and people believe that it's not going to happen. But I mean, why not? Why can't John do that?
John can do whatever he wants.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, and that's kind of one of the.
He's a Targaryen. He has all the power in the world, right? But I mean, he is He-Man rolled into. Yeah, never mind.
But apparently, I'm blinded by Jon Snow, so we'll just.
Yeah, you. I know you're certainly blinded by Con Snow, as BoatSex 2.0 clearly pointed out. You know what's funny? I was actually going to reach out to Zach and coyly give him the link for tonight's hangout so that he could pop in randomly. I didn't think about it. I didn't get it done in time.
Like sort of fun interaction, like
yeah.
Where have you been fighting the White Walkers? The castle is a mess. Oh my god.
Oh boy. Nicola asked a poignant question. If all of magic dies, does Melisandre die too? Not exactly a Danny question, but a good question.
Also, John in the chat. I mean, Daenerys could also be argued as magic.
So can John and anybody that's been raised a fire white. And there's a lot of implications.
I think John is an exception, but I think that Melisandre is going to sacrifice herself anyways.
I think she will, but it'll be unwittingly done by Sir Davos Seaworth, my personal hero and favorite character in the entire series.
A lot of people say that magic won't die. I get it, you know. I mean, Marvin Martin says Azor hype and George R. R. Martin are both human supremacists. I mean,
you're a human supremacist, okay?
I mean, I love people, I guess. Is that what you're trying to say?
I don't think that's what they're trying to say at all.
What are they trying to say?
I'm not entirely sure. But we have another question from GeekChat1 from Jareen Sutton. On a reread, I found in Dany's first chapter, it talks about where they lived in Bravos, in the house with the red door.
Yeah.
Also knew about her brother Rhaegar fighting for the girl he loved. Is this some of the stuff that George R. R. Martin was talking about when he said that all of the answers are in the first book?
Yeah, the Rhaegar answer is 100% in the first book.
Yeah, there's quite a few answers in the first book, and especially in the first three. This series was originally meant to be a trilogy, and obviously it's gone on since then. So there's a lot of hints, clues, and nods and tips. Book 4, which is why can't I think of it off the top of my head? It's not A Feast for Crows. A Feast for Crows kind of diverges a little bit, and it doesn't have as many of the references that the first 3 books do. It's told in a different style a little bit and told parallel to A Dance with Dragons. A Dance with Dragons and Feast for Crows are actually happening at the same time, but it's divided by North and South, ultimately.
What's really interesting is if we even look at the prologue of Game of Thrones, when they find the arranged body parts of the wildlings. And I mean, this show, obviously, we get more of a visual moment of it. We're basically taught, we're basically implied that we have to look back into the past. Why are they leaving this symbol? Right? Why are they doing this?
Right.
You have to understand the past to understand why they are doing this.
Or let alone the description of Weimar Royce, which another friend of both of our channels had an absolutely brilliant video about what happened to Weimar Royce.
Joe Magician, I believe.
Yeah, it was Joe Magician, absolutely. And I mean, mind-boggling. I'd never seen that theory personally, and I watched that video and was blown away talking about the implications of what was actually transpiring, and super interesting stuff. If you haven't seen it, go and check that one out for sure. It's really a great, well-researched video.
Blue Dragon says magic becomes science always. Comment, please. I mean, like that here's the thing, William. I mean, our understanding of magic, like magic is actually science. You know, like that's kind of a complication we get with so many fantasy, sci-fi stories. Harry Potter is another one that we can argue, be like, oh, like magic is actually science. It's just something that happens in this world.
Well, going with wildfire, that could be, that's a science in the show. But to the laymen in the towns, they look at that as completely magic, you know, just fire that can burn on water, burn through nearly anything. You'd look at that and you'd think that's absolutely magic, but obviously it's created by the order there, and it's created by man, so that's science.
Yeah, the alchemist. So that,
yeah.
I mean, so interesting question. Yeah, this is quite complicated, and this could like be a whole discussion in itself that we could have for an hour. My God, I mean, just in our own consciousness and human perception of life, like science, magic, like let's have that discussion in real life.
Well, you have science whites too. You got, you know, Sir Robert Strong or whatever you want to call him.
Did you just say science whites? Wow.
Science whites, yeah. Science white. I mean, he was brought back by Qyburn and his science magic. You know, it's kind of the same thing, right?
Oh my god, we need to do a whole nother video about, you know, we're gonna do a live stream all about magic and science and all of that.
Yeah, you probably need to.
Donna Daly with the $5 donation. Do you think that Dany and or Jon could oversee the breakup of Westeros into Seven Kingdoms? Yeah, I think that that's actually going to happen again. I think that Jon's going to do that. And I mean, I think there's going to be like an iron table, kind of nice of the round table deal. William, what are your thoughts on that? Do you think that it's going to be broken up into Seven Kingdoms again? You know, someone could install leaders in each area, like the cripples, bastards, and broken things could be those people.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, you got Bran in the north. You got the Hound. He's broken. He's from the Westerlands. Quite happy to see him rule. You know, in the region.
That'd be all. You just said the Hound, right?
Yeah, absolutely, man. The Hound.
So William is in the Azor High Hall of Fame for that comment forever, everyone.
That what? I missed it. I was sorry. I was playing in the chat.
He just said that the Hound could become like the people that survived the story. There could be Seven Kingdoms again. Cripples, bastards, and broken things could possibly be rulers or. Oh God, what's going on?
Flesh Weasel, Flesh Weasel with another donation. Seriously, thank you so much.
Science can't explain what Podrick did to the women.
That's right. Nothing can explain what Podrick did to those women.
Those women.
This chat. This has been a really fun live stream.
This has been a great live stream. This is hilarious.
This has been absolutely fantastic. We have to keep it a little bit shorter today. Unfortunately, we got another 10 minutes left, but we're keeping it open, of course. This has been so much fun.
So we'll do the flash round for the last couple of questions from GeekChat1. How about that?
Itchy and hot.
Except for the wig is really itchy and hot. Well, yeah, it comes to territory, my friend.
Wow. Let's do a lightning round.
Okay, we'll do a lightning round. So very short or one-word answers for this. I'll just go ahead and read them off, and you guys answer them. This is what the I don't know what I just did. For some reason, I just linked back to the event for. That is so weird. I don't know what just happened. Oh, so this isn't the full question. I'll read the first part of this question, though. That's what it is. Okay. Do you think that Sansa's death will be payment for Dany's life?
Sansa's death?
Sansa's death.
No. That is a double no.
That's a double no? William?
No. Absolutely no.
All right. Linda Rupp. Will the prince that was promised be Dany's child, not Jon or herself?
I think it's Jon. I think Azor Ahai was legitimately possibly Rhaegar. And Jon is Lightbringer.
And Jon is Lightbringer. All right. Interesting.
But I think that if it isn't Rhaegar, it's Jon. If there's a person that's going to be announced, I know this is lightning round, going to be announced as Azor Ahai, Jon. I mean, multiple people are having transformational Azor Ahai high type moments.
Correct. Elaine Hudson, who is in the chat right now. Do you think that Dany saw the eyes of her ancestors that it was the emperors in the dawn of the Valerians?
What?
Do you think Dany saw the eyes of her ancestors that it was the emperors of the dawn of Valerians?
That I'm confused.
I'm confused on that one too. I don't quite get that
re-ask the question. We'll re-ask that question. Let's get another one.
JJ Ziegler, who is in the chat as well. Is Dany having any anti-hero or villainous arcs? She has done morally concerning things, burning people alive, crucifying people without trial, and ordering torture of young girls being a few.
No, absolutely not.
So you don't see her having an anti-hero or villainous arc?
0%.
0%. William?
No, I agree with Kyle absolutely there. You know, yeah, she's done some things that are morally wrong, but I can't see her as the villain arc at all, really. No.
Okay.
Quick question, quick comment. If the books and the show are going in a similar direction, I know people will dispute this. Dany essentially submitted to Jon in that moment. She says, "I'm going to fight for the Northern people." So, all right, like, yeah,
Regardless of him bending the knee.
Yep. So that's the thing. 160 people watching. Like this video if you're enjoying.
We have 3 more questions to get through on the lightning round, and then we will open it up to the chat. So thank you, chat, for being so hype and keeping everything rolling right along. Another from JJ Ziegler. Do you think she will ever be able to have the happiness that she had at the house with the red door?
Nope.
No,
I say
not
no.
in this story, no.
No, not in this story. Kay Carruthers comes up with a follow-up question for the red door. Where was the red door? My guess is Dorne.
Yeah, some people say Bravos, but I mean lemon trees don't grow there, right? So Dorne.
I'll answer after both you do.
Yeah, humans can recreate memories. So I don't necessarily know that it really means anything.
Okay, William.
I gotta think that could it be? I go along with Dawn on that one.
You're going to go with it, that it is probably Dorne. And I'm of the volition that it is actually in Bravos because there, as Robert pointed out the other night on the stream that I was with them on, it was a piece of text that I actually even forgot. And everybody talks about the lemon tree in Dorne, but forgets the rest of the entire sentence that's on there. And it is possible to grow lemon trees in Dorne, just like it's possible to grow fruit trees in Winterfell, and you do it under glass. So they can't have greenhouses.
I think it's a false memory.
Do you think it's a false memory implanted?
I don't necessarily know if it's implanted or not, but I think it's a false memory. I've recreated memories in my mind. I like chat panel. Have you ever had a memory where you like recreated a moment of it that wasn't true? I mean, I certainly have. So
yeah,
yeah. We got another donation,
right.
Marvin Martian. We'll get to that one, and then we'll go to some more lightning rounds.
We have one more lightning round question, and we're done.
All right.
We have one more question for lightning round, and it's from JJ Ziegler again. Can she be burned? In the TV show, it shows she can't, but in the books, it seems like her hands got burnt.
I mean, her hair. I mean, that's a thing too. So, I don't think anyone is truly fireproof.
No, I don't think so either. William?
No, she can be burnt. You know, one of the main reasons she didn't round the Khal Drogo thing, that was blood magic was protecting her.
Yeah, right. And that's been pointed out many times, especially in the books, that it was kind of a one-off deal, that it was to do with the blood magic and everything else. And it sets up this idea that Targaryens are fireproof, which is not true, as we've seen through history of Targaryens trying to do something with dragons and getting killed by fire or drinking wildfire or God only knows what else.
The show is definitely trying to make it like she's fireproof, but
correct, they are. And it starts from episode 1 when you first meet her and she's getting into the hot pool or bath before she meets Khal Drogo. I mean, it's all these things, right?
That's why Bran specifically has the ability to enter the Weirnet. Jon is revived and Daenerys is fireproof. They all have kind of like their own unique thing that no one else has, right? In the show.
Yeah, Susan Dunkel aptly points out that well, Egg wasn't fireproof. No. Sir, yes. Aegon Targaryen was not fireproof, and neither was the Lord Commander Sir Duncan the Tall.
Summerhall was not Summerhall was bad. We got another donation from Marvin Martin. Azor, you said only humans in George R. R. Martin still survive, hence the joke I was saying earlier. So thank you for the donation. Really appreciate that, Marvin. Let's do a final question on the panel and then post it to chat. Daenerys Targaryen. Let's make a final prediction, everyone. I personally think she sacrifices herself. And she sees the greater wheel. So whether that's childbirth or Nisa or whatever, she's going to die. I don't think Daenerys Targaryen survives the series.
And I think that she's going to volunteer herself and take on the sins of man and become the Night's Queen.
William.
I got to stand by my battle dragon versus dragon. She's going out against Blue Flame.
Right? And I love that now. I want to see that. Like, it'd be visually amazing.
So so thank you everyone for joining us tonight. We hope that I know this is a bit of a shorter stream, but have to make do. Like I said, thank you, William of Team Fire and Blood from GeekChat1 for joining us this evening, and of course, JR. William, who are you and what's up? So you've been a member of the Hype and Love community for a while.
Yeah, I think I've started following you nearly from about 1,000 subscribers, Carl. I think I was one of your earlier ones that joined that. Found you from Gemma's channel and followed both of you guys since then. So, and now I've subscribed along to GeekChat1. Loving all the content you guys put out.
Well, thanks for joining us this evening. This isn't going to be the only appearance that we have. We're trying to get some other team captains out in the open. So thank you, William. And it is very late for William, so give him some hype and love. He's in the UK right now. It's like
yes, he's on Gemma and Robert time. So thank you for taking time out of your evening and being very late evening in the UK right now.
And JR.
What?
You're doing your sign-out part.
Oh, right. Well, you can always find us on GeekChat1. Please come and join the chat. We welcome you all to experience a community where we talk about all things geeky and good in the world and ignore the things that are happening in everyday life. It's a great escapism oasis that we've very carefully cultivated with a lot of really great people, such as Kyle and William and many of us that are in the chat. You can, of course, like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Would be greatly appreciated. Carl, Gig'em.
Wait. Everyone stop for a second.
Uh-oh.
Everyone in chat right now, if you're still here, there's a link in the description of this video. GeekChat1 YouTube channel. You click on that. It's super easy. You take your mouse, go, and then you subscribe. We're trying to get JR to 1,000 subscribers so we can get his channel monetized. Greatly appreciated. JR 100% deserves it. So if you're still here and you haven't subscribed to GeekChat1, go do that. JR, we're starting an Expanse podcast next week. I'm doing a rewatch of season 3 right now, and that's what we're going to cover.
Well, are we going to do a week to week? Would do an episode a week breakdown for the first 13?
Yeah, that's what we're going to do.
Yeah, because that'd be a fun way, and we could talk about different aspects of it that's coming up. For those that don't know, right now on Amazon Prime, the first 3 seasons of The Expanse are now loaded on Amazon Prime, and of course, Amazon, sweeping in like the big damn heroes that they are, actually saved The Expanse from extinction when the Sci-Fi Network actually canceled the series. They quadrupled the budget for it, and it will now air. Season 4 will now air on Amazon Prime coming sometime in September. They haven't released an exact date for that yet. They're in post-production right now. They've completed all the filming and had their wrap party, so everything's in post-production. And they're looking at still making a September timeframe release for season 4 of The Expanse. So big round of applause.
8 subscribers for 600 on GeekChat1, everyone. So
8 subscribers for 600 on GeekChat1. I haven't even looked at it today. I don't even know what it's doing.
It's 592 on YouTube. I just checked. So let's 8 subscribers. We need 8 more.
So Art Girl 26 asks a great question. What is The Expanse about? So The Expanse is a very lengthy book series that is in existence. It was written by J.A. Corey, who both of the authors are, it's actually a pseudonym. It's 2 authors and they're friends and they wrote the book. They're actually good friends with George R.R. Martin and live in New Mexico right near him. When they would get stuck or bogged down with things, they would bring it to George, and he would help them work through their problems. And it is really a Game of Thrones in space. You have 3 different factions that are, it's Game of Thrones in space, like literally, it's insane.
And then there's another threat that's like looming, kind of like.
Right, so looming like the others, right? The proto-molecules, what it's called, this alien species that nobody knows anything about.
Don't give them too much.
I'm not giving too much, but the 3 main factions, and this takes place, what is it, 500 in the future?
It's a bunch in the future.
It's not, well, it's reasonably short term in the history of the world. In the future, it's only like 200 or 300, 400, 500 years in the future.
I think it's like 2,350 or so. I think it's like 300 years in the future. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not terribly far off, but we've colonized Mars and started mining.
Well, not the asteroid belt. Yeah.
Well, no, we colonized Mars and started mining on the asteroid belt for natural and precious materials. Well, they kind of developed into 3 separate factions. So you have Earthers, Dusters or Martians, and then the Belters, people that work and reside in the belt, which pretty much grow up in 0 gravity. They have a lot of physical ailments of growing up in low G. The Outer Planetary Alliance, or the OPA, is kind of modeled after Sing Fen and the IRA. There's a political arm to it, and there's a revolutionary arm to it that fights battles. So that's kind of where the Belters are. They're always at the brunt end of the wars of Mars and Earth because they're vying for the resources that are left, because Earth is pretty much mined free. Earth no longer produces. Everything that they need is coming from the belt. And that goes for the Martians as well. Mars is colonized and it develops into this own unique culture, which is very well thought after and crafted, considering the type of people that we would send to Mars to begin with. And so they kind of have this different ideology of things and how they operate for Mars itself. And then Earth is still Earth.
Watch the damn series.
It's amazing. Kyle and I are both reading the books. It's fantastic. It's great material.
3 more subscribers till GeekChat1 gets to 600. People in chat, just do it. You can find JR's Facebook group, Geek Chat. We like to call it the GeekChat1 Oasis on Facebook. I'm there. Gemma's there. We like to chat about Avengers, Game of Thrones, all-star stuff. We do questions on there, polls, all sorts of stuff. Join GeekChat1 on Facebook. Link in the description of this video. Link to YouTube, GeekChat1 in the description of this video. And thank you, everyone, for joining us this evening. Thanks for all the amazing donations. Got another video coming out. I'm going to look at those Season 8 photos, give kind of my thoughts on this, some interesting nuggets about that. And it's time to get the hype train going, right, JR? Like,
66, this train is going straight into Season 8, and it's not going to let up until
66 days.
Yep, it's going to be one hell of a fast train from here on out. It's going to be a bullet train. We're doing
it's like 2 months
bi-weekly lives, one during the after the episode, and on Wednesday we'll be breaking down on Kyle or Gemma's channel the preview for the next episode. So the schedule for that has already been posted to GeekChat1. And other people's schedules for Season 8 have been posted in there as well. So if you're looking to see who has content for what when it comes to Season 8, go and check out GeekChat1. You can find everybody's information in there. Yeah, that's about all I got.
That's it for the stream tonight. William, you're going to sign us off tonight. What do we usually say to end the stream?
Hype and love.
Hype and love, everyone.